So, what exactly is a soulmate? I believe there are many answers to this, and because all the answers come from varying perspectives. Everybody views a soulmate differently, but all I can provide you is my perspective. I believe a soulmate, for starters, is a strong, energetic, magnetic attraction towards another being. That can be between man and another man. That can be between a man and a woman. That can be between a woman and a woman. Gender makes no difference in this. It can also doesn't always have to take the form of a lover either. It could take the form of a friend, a father and a son, a mother and a daughter, between two brothers. It's a strong pull you and another being share between each other. And it's not really, you can have more than one too. You will feel a strong pull towards certain people and as you go along through life. Hopefully not all at the same time, because that can cause friction and it can cause they could cause all sorts of things. But we're here to go into depth with this. So you have this strong magnetic pull towards another being. And you both have your stuff, so to say. They have their stuff and you have your stuff. And typically it's the inner work we're here to do on ourselves. Pretty much every one of us goes through some sort of period in our life where trauma arises. And when you meet such a being, this strong magnetic pull, and you're conscious of this strong magnetic pull, it's real easy to get duped into emotional delusion. And sometimes you can't help but get duped by that. It like reels you in. But the more, in my own experience, I feel this strong magnetic pull towards a guy right now. And I went through the emotional delusion, but you come out of it. And I come out of it a lot faster than I used to. I remember the first time I fell in love with a girl. Yeah, I kept putting on that fantasy for over a decade. It my mind didn't want, we started to begin a relationship, but then she wanted to back out of it because I was coming on too hard, too fast, too honest, and it scared her and she wanted to back out of it. I told her I wanted a family and all this stuff. That was when I was 19. And when she backed out of it, I respected that, but it still hurt. And it hurt so much that my ego wanted to perpetuate the illusion that one day her and I would become a thing. One day she could be the one I could start a family with. And I kept perpetuating that illusion for 6 years. And I finally hit a point where I realized I need to come out of this. But I had perpetuated that illusion for so long that I couldn't come out of it. at least not on my own. So I started dating again, and then I bumped into my then at the time wife, and we got married. And for a while, I did come out of it. But I still had a gay side because I like men and women. And I was suppressing that. And eventually, the marriage came to an end because we were both trying to make something work that wasn't going to work, and we both could see where it was going. We both made the adult decision to leave at the same time. She called it quits, and I called it quits too. And we both came to that. So I packed up my stuff and I left. And then I started living alone. And then one of my childhood friends died. And I remember my other childhood friend who was still alive, the girl I was in love with all those years ago. So I got in contact with her. And we started talking again. And we didn't see each other right then and there, because I really wanted to graduate school and I wanted to do other things. There was no time to be in a relationship. So I pursued other things, which led her to pursue other things. The feelings came back. I saw her a year after I got back in contact with her in person, and I hung out with her that whole day. Spent the night over there. We didn't do anything romantic. We didn't kiss. We didn't cuddle. We didn't hold hands. We didn't do any of that. It was just two friends hanging out. And I left the next day, and the strangest thing happened. I felt completely satiated. The longing for her had dissolved at that moment in time. I didn't realize it at that moment in time, though, not till much later. I saw this girl again 3 years later. And when I met up with her again, she was just a normal girl. All emotional, romantic attraction had dissolved. Our relationship had become completely platonic. So these delusions put on by the mind that I had to go through, that was the longest one. They're strong stuff, and they will take you in. But you will come out the other side, and you'll come out the other side with more clarity. And then around Christmas time last year, I met up with her again because I was feeling lonely and I was dealing with this loneliness. And the universe made a really clear statement to me that I wasn't meant to be there. I went to go hang out with her or watch her do like this dance thing, and I watched the whole show, and her boyfriend was there. And I asked if she wanted me to go to that place, and she said, yeah, come on. But at the same time, I think she was answering that because she felt guilty for the way I felt about her all those years ago, mixed with not really wanting me to be there because she's got her own group of friends. She found her own tribe. And it was really, the statement was clear when I got there because she's super caught up in her own life, you know? I'm not a part of her life. And at first, that's a painful truth to admit, but people move on. And so must you at some point. Otherwise, it's just carrying pain. And it doesn't mean you have to go through a grieving process too. It doesn't mean you shove these emotions down and ignore them because they hurt so much. You actually do the opposite. You allow them to hurt you. You allow yourself to feel the pain. You grieve the pain, and then you can start to let go of the pain. But you have to be able to feel the pain first. And the funniest thing happened because that same night, I was still feeling lonely, so I walked around the neighborhood looking at Christmas lights. And then I wanted to go to 6th Street in Austin. So I went to 6th Street, and I went to this bar I'd gone to a couple of years ago called the Pete's Dueling Pianos Bar. And last time I went a couple of years ago, it was a fun experience. But I was in there for a couple of hours, and didn't meet any connections. I have tinnitus, so the music was just too loud, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience, not like it was last time. So then I got something to eat, and I started walking the street, and I met a guitarist who was just playing on a street corner, and I was listening to him, and I was attracted to like this warmth. Is like his music was playing love, and there was these 3 guys there, and they had these t-shirts that said love everybody or love everything, something like that. So one of them turned around and he said, "You have so much fire, bro." And I was like, who is this guy? And a strange feeling came over me. It was like a warm blanket. You know, when I went to that dance thing earlier, I wasn't met with warmth. I was met with coldness, and I want you out of here. I don't want to have anything to do with you. That's what I was met with. Same for the bar, and same for when I go to work and all these things. People unconsciously give you these vibes. But this group of guys, I was wanted. They enjoyed my energy. I didn't even know them. Not through the mind. Through the heart, there was definitely heart-to-heart connection. So one of them gave me his Instagram, so I followed him. And then they all 3 were going to go somewhere, so they left. When they left, the warmth was still there, but it wasn't as strong. So I just went about my business, and I had a better night because of that. And then a couple weeks later, they reach out to me, and I have a conversation with a couple of them. One of them, there was still a bit of ego there, so we weren't able to connect as deeply. But the other one was just raw, and in his energy was raw and real and honest. Didn't hold anything back, and it kind of shocked me. And you know, the more we got to know each other over these phone calls, the more my heart started to open up. It had been closed off for a very long time. I hope this cough goes away soon. It sucks being sick. I was sick a year ago around this time. I live in a town where there's a major college here. Students come back every August. And when they come back, they bring viruses and bacteria and all this stuff. And I get sick every August. But I'm thankful that I only get sick once. I'd rather be sick once every year than multiple times a year. But anyway, as my heart began to open more and more, I'm experiencing, and even still talking about this, I experienced this warmth and love that it's just been absent for a very long time. And I've been compensating for that lack of love in my life with buying material things and enjoyment stuff. And now I'm like getting rid of everything. I'm not literally getting rid of everything, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't bring me enjoyment anymore. And it's so strange for me because I've been living the same way for the past 12 years. And it's like all those old habits and old, not addictions, but like all the stuff you used to like doing. It's like within the span of a year, less than a year, the more I talk to this guy, the more all that stuff dies off. And I have different beliefs than this guy. There's things this guy, because of his beliefs, he takes certain actions that I personally wouldn't engage in. So like, I won't share, I'll keep it private, but I'll share what I think about money real quick. I've been in credit card debt twice. I'm coming out the second time as we speak. And once I come out of this one, I'm canceling all my credit cards. I'd rather have 0 credit cards. That way, because whatever money I have in my pocket in cash, or whatever money I have in my bank account, is the only real money there is. And one could say, money is imaginary. Okay, yes. But because of the way the system is set up, the world's still going to use money. So it still has its relevance. And each one of us has to navigate how we want to deal with that in here. I'm not going to try to get rid of the system, beat the system, escape the system. At the same time, I'm not going to give in to over-consumerism. For me, it was about burning off these desires by just indulging in it to a point where it became a sickness. And now I have no interest. It's like you do something so many times until you reach a point where you've had enough and you're like, okay, I'm done. And there's no fight or resistance in me anymore. It's more of a letting go because I've finally given up. But giving up is my way. Surrender is my way of dealing with this stuff. A natural surrendering into the fact that I can't. It's like the emotions I feel towards this guy. This is not something that's going away. And it's something I'm allowing myself to surrender into. But we could talk more about money in another video. This video is about soulmates. So I'm making arrangements to go to another country right now. Getting rid of my things, eliminating my credit card debt, getting all my documents sorted, finding my cats a new home. My life is drastically changing. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going to end up on the other side of all this, but one thing is clear to me is that I will gain more clarity by going through this than having not gone through it at all, because this person I'm talking about, it's not that I agree with everything they say. There's a lot of things I disagree on. It's not that I resonate with everything he says. It's his energy helps remove some of my blockages. And I think that I provide somewhat of a similar thing for him. So it's like when you meet your soulmate, you two are kind of like yin and yang, where you guys might be at polar opposites. And you guys are not going to agree on a lot of things. But it's not about debating. And I don't have the energy to debate anyway. At this point in my life, I'd rather conserve my energy to love on other people. And if I feel a debate is starting to happen, I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to go out to the woods or go near the water to empty my mind, because debating is all ego. And at this point in my life, most of my ego has been burnt out of me. Life has thoroughly cooked my ego to a point where I'm no longer trying to fight life. I'm just going along with it. And there's so much peace in that, because trying to fight the mind, it's a fruitless endeavor. It's an endless. Life is the best teacher, and life will thoroughly cook the mind. Life will thoroughly season the ego into submission. And it does that on purpose. Life is designed to crush us on purpose. Crush us into humility. Crush us into gratefulness for what we do have. And to allow us to see what's really important. It burns away all the falseness in our lives, because the ego will perpetuate falseness over and over again until life just eventually burns away all that isn't real, and what's left is real. My feelings for this guy are real. And I'm going to follow these feelings, because these feelings are going to lead me to a deeper truth. And this isn't a decision I'm making with my mind. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm making it with my heart, because my mind has a lot of fear about this. But there needs to be a balance, a compromise, right? I'm about balance. I'm not about radical faith. I'm not against radical faith. But that's not my philosophy and not my way of living. For me, it's about balance between the mind and the heart. So I've set some perimeters for myself. No credit card debt whatsoever. I won't leave the country until I owe 0 cents. And all my credit cards are canceled. Also, I won't leave the country without at least $2,000 in my bank account, saved up in case for emergency funds. I'm pretty lucky. I get VA disability, so I get a free paycheck every month. So that can help me if I'm in a bind. But having an extra $2,000 on top of that ensures my security. I have a strong need for security. I can't eradicate that. It's a part of my human nature. It's a part of my being, and I'm not gonna try to fight it. I'm all about balance, and I'm about stability, and I'm about peace, and that's who I am as a person. I have no interest in destroying the stability I've worked so hard to get. But you see, like, that's where I think this guy and I share an interesting balance between the two of us. Is he is about radical faith, and he is about instability in order to break the system down. And I'm not against that. But if I were to completely convert myself to his way of thinking and his belief system, then it would cause more stress, more instability, and the balance goes out the window. I think between human relationships, especially dealing with soulmates, I think communication and balance are some of the most important things you can implement in a relationship. Not trying to talk the other into your way of thinking and your beliefs, because that's the ego trying to gain a sense of security and control over another. I think it's more about continuing to honor your human incarnation, honor who you are as a person, honoring your inner world, your inner you. You could still support people that you could still support people with your love and acceptance that you don't necessarily agree with, but you have to set aside this want to convert them also. You have to surrender that. You have to surrender and accept the fact that they are who they are, and they're going to do what they're going to do. And if you truly love this person, are you willing to sign up for that? Are you willing to continue to still be a part of their life, whether it all goes right or whether it all goes wrong? It doesn't mean that so if somebody gets into a bunch of debt, it doesn't mean you have to pay all that debt off. But are you going to block this person out of your life? Or are you still going to continue to be there by their side, no matter what happens? If that's not true love and acceptance, I don't know what is. And it is a choosing, but at the same time, it's almost like God does this on purpose, because the feelings compel us to stand by the ones we really love. Otherwise, why would we go through all the trouble? So, the funny thing is I had no idea what this video was going to be about. For the longest time, I felt like I wasn't ready for YouTube and I wasn't ready to share my thoughts, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. And it's even better that I'm not trying to look for money or make money off of this. I honestly just want to put my thoughts out there, and if people resonate, they resonate. If they don't, they don't. Anyway, I'll be signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.